Are you considering making a move to Pacifica, but you're not 100% sure which neighborhood might be right for you? Maybe you don't know anything about the individual neighborhoods. Well, this is a video you're going to want to check out today, because in this video, I'm going to take a deep dive into not only the neighborhoods, each individual neighborhood in Pacifica, but we're going to talk about the microclimates and the schools that service those particular areas. So stay tuned. What is going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name's Kevin Pickett. I'm a lifelong Bay Area local, and I've been selling real estate in Pacifica in the San Mateo County for the past 15 years. If you like these videos, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe. If you want to get in touch with us, do not hesitate to pick up the phone, give us a call, shoot us a text message, or better yet, click the link in the comments to schedule a Zoom call and we'll get connected with you right away. All right, guys, let's dive right in. So the first neighborhood that we're going to talk about today is going to be Linda Mar. Now, Linda Mar is one of the largest neighborhoods in all of Pacifica. It's got about 1,000 single family homes in the Linda Mar neighborhood. Linda Mar primarily is going to be a very flat neighborhood. It's going to be walkable. You're going to have access to Linda Mar Beach, Pacifica State Beach. Linda Mar used to be old sand dunes, and then those sand dunes over time were converted into artichoke fields, and then it became a development in the early 1950s. So living in Linda Mar, if you're looking for a beachy, suburban, real tight community vibe, kids running around, zipping around on e-bikes, people going to the beach, walking their dogs, walking along one of the trails that I'm on, like this one right here, Linda Mar is going to be a great neighborhood for you. Linda Mar is also a sunspot. When you're coming down into Pacifica, you might notice that Linda Mar usually has a lot of sun. It is closer to the beach, so you're going to have some exposure to wind and fog, but for the most part, Linda Mar is one of the warmer neighborhoods in Pacifica. It is part of Pacifica's, southern Pacifica's banana belt, and it's a great place to live. You've got walkability to Linda Mar Beach, quick access to Highway 1. You can get out to Half Moon Bay very easily. You can get up to the city very easily. So it's a very desirable place to live. All right, guys, the next neighborhood I want to talk about is going to be the warmest neighborhood in all of Pacifica. It's going to have the best microclimate, the sunniest microclimate in all of Pacifica, and that is going to be the Sun Valley and Park Pacifica neighborhoods, just east of Linda Mar. So Linda Mar is to the west, closer to the beach. As you go east, sort of past the fire department, you're going to get to Sun Valley and Park Pacifica. Now, Sun Valley and Park Pacifica do have a slightly hillier topography, a slightly hillier terrain. So you will see what we call high ranch style homes, where there's a garage on the lower level, and then you walk up some steps for the most part, and then you're going to get into the living spaces. A lot of those properties are going to be between 1,100 square feet and 1,440 square feet on the second level. Some of them will have finished or unfinished basements on the lower level. Sun Valley and Park Pacifica also has two of the most popular condo and townhouse developments that are in all of Pacifica, which is going to be the Terra Nova townhouses, which are back on Terra Nova between Ortega School and Terra Nova School, and then also the Rosita townhomes, which are beautiful townhomes along the creek there, off Rosita. And this is a great place to live. These are very popular townhouses that come up for sale relatively frequently. It's not super difficult to get your hands on one, but it's a great area to live if you want to get a condo or a townhouse. And some of them enjoy really nice views of the surrounding areas, the valleys, San Pedro Valley Park, also Montera Mountains. So there's going to be a lot of good views. It's not as walkable as, say, a neighborhood like Linda Mar, but it is still very neighborly. There's going to be a lot of people around. There's going to be kids zipping around on bikes, people coming in and out of town, going to work. It's a very desirable place to live. Now, the southern part of Pacifica, like we're talking about, Linda Mar and Sun Valley Park Pacifica, those areas are serviced by the Cabrillo Elementary, which is a K-8 school, and then Ortega, which is in the back of the valley, and Ortega is going to be a K-5 school. There's also a middle school and a private middle school and a private high school, which is Pacific Bay Christian School. That school is right behind the fire department there on Linda Mar Boulevard. Beautiful campus right there, very highly rated, parents that are very happy with it. And then Terra Nova High School is in the back of the valley. Also a beautiful campus, very good weather back there as well. And Terra Nova is, freshman to senior year in high school, public high school. Pacifica does have another public high school, which is Oceana High School in the northern part of town. We'll get into that a little bit later. Now, the houses in Linda Mar, you're going to see, typically are going to sell between about $1 million up to about 1.8 or 1.9. Most of those houses were built as 3-bedroom, 1-bath Linda Mar ranchers with a 2-car garage detached with a backyard. But some houses in there have been added on over the years. They're larger homes. And then some of the houses in Sun Valley and Park Pacifica are going to be anywhere between like 1.2 and about 2.1. There's several different models. We call the houses in the back of the valley Oddstad houses. There's several different models of these homes, but it's really just has to do with the differences in size. For the most part, they have the same same relative size and appeal. All right, guys, now finishing off the southern part of Pacifica, the San Pedro Valley area, I want to talk about Pedro Point. Now, Pedro Point is definitely, without question, one of the coolest, most unique neighborhoods that you're going to find anywhere in San Mateo County, and definitely in Pacifica. If you're driving down on Highway 1 into Pacifica, you can't help but notice the houses that are overlooking the ocean right there on the point. Well, that is the Pedro Point neighborhood. In this neighborhood, you're going to see a lot of homes that are a little bit more vertical. They're a little bit taller. Pedro Point does have some narrower streets, but you're going to see the houses in this neighborhood have tremendous ocean views. Some of the houses, if they're oriented straight at the ocean, they're going to have really kind of in-your-face views. The ocean feels like it's right below you. And some of the houses have actually an easterly exposure where you can look back into the valley, and those are really pretty houses too. I had a listing once in Pedro Point, and the seller told me that they used to actually have full moon parties in the summertime because the house kind of oriented to the east. It was a really cool setup. Pedro Point is going to be a great area, and also, even though it's elevated, it does have a lot of walkability. It's very easy to get to Linda Mar Beach from there. You can get down to Pedro Point Shopping Center. So it's a great area to go. So some of the houses are going to feel pretty vertical in the Pedro Point neighborhood, and that's because they are built into the hillside. Sometimes the vertical nature of the houses is to take advantage of those ocean views, but they are also built into a hillside. So some of them don't have large backyards. It's not saying all of them don't have good yards. Some of them certainly do, but a lot of them are built into the hillside, so they feel like have like a steeper terrain on the street there. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the Pedro Point houses don't come up for sale that often. If you're looking for a custom style home on Pedro Point, which I have a lot of clients that are, those houses, it's not uncommon to see only 3, 4, 5 houses sell on Pedro Point the entire year. So keep that in mind. It's going to be tough to be super picky over there. But there are pretty houses, custom style homes that come up for sale there relatively frequently. And so it's a great place to keep an eye on, and one of the coolest neighborhoods by far in all of Pacifica. All right, guys, the next neighborhood that I want to talk about is a very small neighborhood. We're moving north now from southern Pacifica, moving north of Linda Mar. But the next neighborhood I want to talk about is Rockaway Beach. Now, Rockaway Beach is a cool neighborhood. It's a very small neighborhood. It really only is Rockaway Beach Avenue that moves back up off the coast and into the mountains a little bit. And it's relatively flat. It is relatively walkable and neighborly, but there's just a few streets that come off Rockaway Beach Avenue. So it's a pretty small neighborhood. There's not a ton of houses in there, but you will see old beachside cottages there. You will see some houses in Rockaway Beach, especially towards Highway 1, that have larger lots. But you will also see some custom style homes. There's some creekside homes along Rockaway Beach. There's a creek that runs behind Rockaway Beach Avenue. So there's some really cool property in there. Definitely an area you might want to look. And it also has walkability. Even though it feels like it's kind of secluded and set apart from the ocean, it's not difficult to get back out to Rockaway Beach. You can walk over to Maury Point, you can walk over to the quarry, and you can get to the commercial district that's in Rockaway Beach. We are going to see between Rockaway and Vallemar, which is the neighborhood that I'll talk about next, there is going to be more proposed development in that area. They're trying to get more housing in Pacifica, and that's one of the areas they want to do it. So along Highway 1 between Rockaway and Vallemar, we are going to see more development in that area. But Rockaway Beach, definitely a great neighborhood, definitely a neighborly, family-friendly place to live. So keep an eye out for Rockaway Beach as well. All right, guys, the sun's hitting my face now, but I want to talk about another premier neighborhood in all of Pacifica to live, and that's going to be the neighborhood of Vallemar. Now, Vallemar is north of Rockaway Beach. Vallemar is a valley that kind of goes from the police department from the west, and it goes back, it follows along Calera Creek. Calera Creek runs right through the center of Vallemar. Vallemar is a beautiful place to live. It's very wooded. There's obviously a creek that goes right through it, like I had just mentioned. Vallemar is an area where you will see some of the most expensive, some of the larger homes in all of Pacifica are going to be in the Vallemar area. And this is an area where builders are looking, developers like this area because there's a higher ceiling on some of the homes. You will see people moving down from San Francisco that are specifically targeting this neighborhood. There's a little bit more inventory that will come up for sale in Vallemar than say in Pedro Point. Part of that is because it is a larger community than Pedro Point. There's more houses there, but Vallemar does have some walkability. It's relatively flat. It's very, very popular during Halloween. There's some small eateries and things at the entrance to Vallemar, but for the most part, if you're trying to get to the grocery store, you're going to have to run over to Linda Mar to get to the Safeway there, or run back up to Manor in the north part of town to get to the Safeway there. But It's a very quiet, quaint place to live. Vallemar is also serviced by its own K-8 elementary school, and that's going to be Vallemar Elementary. And this is one of the highest rated schools, public schools in Pacifica. A lot of people are trying to get their kids into this school. And so this is a great neighborhood to live, very, very popular. A little bit more inventory than you'll see than Pedro Point. You will see some custom style homes mixed in with some beach cottages and some smaller Oddstad homes towards the front of Vallemar. So definitely an area to keep an eye on. And let's move next. We're going to go to Fairway Park. All right, guys, the next neighborhood that I'm going to talk about, which is north of Vallemar, that is going to be Fairway Park. Now, Fairway Park is divided into two areas. On the east side of Highway 1 is going to be East Fairway Park, and on the west side of Highway 1 is going to be West Fairway Park. Now, Fairway Park is primarily only a single family home neighborhood. You're not going to see apartments or any multi-unit housing in there. There are some condos and townhouses that are over near the Moose Lodge, but one of the characteristics of Fairway Park is that you have great access to Maury Point. In fact, there's a couple little trails that just service Fairway Park that go right into Maury Point. And if you live in these areas and you walk these trails, you can walk all the way out to Sharp Park Beach. You can walk on the Sharp Park Beach Trail all the way down to the pier. So it's really easy to get outside. You might wonder why it's called Fairway Park. Well, Sharp Park Golf Course is adjacent to this neighborhood. So some of the streets in Fairway Park are going to run right along the golf course. There's a couple big baseball fields in the back of Fairway Park where the Little League kids will play baseball. And Fairway Park is, like I said before, relatively flat. Highway 1 can be a little bit tricky getting on and off of, but if you live in Fairway Park, there's a tunnel that is also used for the golf course that you can walk under the tunnel, so you don't have to cross the highway right there. And if you're trying to get to Sharp Park Road, if you're trying to get back out to South San Francisco or up to San Francisco from Fairway Park, they do have entrances and exits near the golf course, so you don't have to jump on the freeway right there at Highway 1 where it can get a little bit dicey. Fairway Park's a great place to live. You're going to see the pricing in there is going to range. It is an entry-level priced community, so you're going to see homes in there selling anywhere between maybe 1.2 million for a smaller home up to about 1.6 or 1.7 for a larger home. But it is relatively similar to Linda Mar in terms of pricing. It's more of an entry-level priced neighborhood, but great walkability, very flat. And a lot of fun things to do if you're trying to get outside and get to some of the trails. All right, guys, the next neighborhood I'm going to talk about now is going to be East and West Sharp Park. Now, East and West Sharp Park, as you can see, I'm walking along the beach trail here. This is West Sharp Park. It's characterized by the pier that's behind me. Also, Gypsy Hill is going to be on the south side of Sharp Park, and then to the north is going to be Milagro Ridge. So there's a lot going on in East and West Sharp Park. So on the west side of Sharp Park, West Sharp Park, you're going to see a lot of old beach cottages, like some of these homes that are here behind me. You're also going to see some multi-unit or zone properties. So there's going to be definitely apartment houses, some newly developed townhouses and things like that. There's also obviously a commercial corridor on Palmetto where you're going to see, coffee shops, little shops like that, little eateries, places that service the people who live here in the community. As you go into East Sharp Park, you're going to have Eureka Square, which is a great commercial district where you can, shop at Oceana Market, which is one of the best grocery stores in town. And over there as well, there's going to be apartment houses, single family homes. You will see some custom style properties in East Sharp Park also. As you get up the hill, you will see properties that have amazing ocean views. On East Sharp Park as well, you'll notice that's where Oceana High School is, which is the other high school in Pacifica that we spoke about. So there's two high schools in Pacifica, two public high schools. Oceana High School is going to be over on that side. There's also a little bit of nightlife in West Sharp Park. Now remember, people don't move to Pacifica for the nightlife, but there is Winter's Tavern, which is not far from where I'm standing now, and then Longboards as well, which is over in Eureka Square. So you will be able to see live music and things like that in some of those areas, but not a huge nightlife scene here, of course, but there are some options like that if you just want to go out for a quick drink or have a night out on the town. And then also in West Sharp Park, you're going to see Ingrid B. Lacey Middle School, which is the public middle school. And I think it's important to mention that the schools in Pacifica are a lottery. So what will happen when you have a kindergartner is you'll choose your top five choices for kindergarten, and then you're probably going to get your first or your second. The schools in Pacifica are not really impacted right now. And then when your kids go to middle school, there's for 6th, 7th, and 8th grade, there's Cabrillo School, Vallemar, and then your kids also have an opportunity to go to IBL if they want, which is just a pure 6th, 7th, and 8th grade middle school. And so the IBL middle school is right over here on Palmetto as well in this neighborhood. West and East Sharp Park are one of the older neighborhoods of Pacifica. You'll see homes here ranging in price from about $1.1 million all the way up to north of $3 million in East Sharp Park. In West Sharp Park, you'll see a lot more beach cottages and you know, some multi-unit zoning here, apartments, some townhouses, some Airbnb short-term rentals and things like that. But a lot of options over here, and it's a great place to be. And I think this is also an area, if you look at the Sharp Park specific plan, you're going to see this is an area where there's going to be a lot of new development in the years to come. There's actually plans right now in place to put a large hotel over here near the pier in West Sharp Park also. So there's a lot going on in West and East Sharp Park. It's a great place to hang out and come spend some time. All right, guys, the next neighborhood I want to talk about is going to be the Pacific Manor neighborhood, loosely referred to as the Manor district of Pacifica. Now, this area is going to be a great neighborhood to keep an eye on if you're looking for kind of an entry-level priced house, small to medium-sized homes in Pacific Manor. You're going to find houses that are anywhere from between about 850 square feet up to about 1,700 square feet. And the cost of those homes is going to cost anywhere from about 1.1 million to about 1.7 million. So anywhere in that range is going to be a decent budget for the Manor area. You'll also find there are some condos and townhouses as you start to go up Monterey Road, or as you start to get to the top of Manor. You will see, you know, some multi-unit zoning up there, as well as condo and townhouse developments that are available. And so Manor is going to be a great area to keep an eye on. It's very neighborly, mostly single family properties. As you go down a little bit further into the Manor area, you're going to see we have a post office there. There's the Manor Plaza where there's a Safeway and some grocery stores, Rosalind Bakery. The Manor area is going to be a great option if you need to get up and out of Pacifica, if you need to get up to Highway 280, if you need to get down over to the Peninsula, to the airport. It's going to be really quick from here. So it's very simple to drive straight into San Francisco. It feels like we almost have a private road. Highway 1 from Pacifica to 280 from Pacifica is just not a heavily trafficked road. And it's kind of like our direct access to San Francisco. Also super easy to take Sharp Park Road up and over. You can go up Manor or Monterey Road to get up to Skyline. You can get down to the airport or to the Peninsula super quick. So Manor's a great neighborhood to live, very neighborly, suburban vibes. So it's definitely a place to keep an eye out for. So guys, now I'm walking through the Edgemar neighborhood of Pacifica. And the Edgemar neighborhood of Pacifica is going to be on the north side of town. Some of the homes here are built into a hillside, so they're going to have more of a vertical feel about them. And some of these houses do have amazing ocean views. It's also going to have a southerly exposure. So a lot of the houses coming out of the hillside are going to be facing to the south. So you're going to get a lot of natural light in some of these homes, and some of these houses are going to have views of the Pacifica Pier all the way down to Pedro Point and beyond. So you can see the ocean in this area. This is a great area to live if you commute to San Francisco, or if you need to get to other parts of the Northern Peninsula. So we're very close to the airport. We're very close to SFO. And these houses are going to have more of a vertical feel. You will see some larger homes in this area. So they're going to range in size from about 1,100 to about 2,600 square feet. And they're going to range in price from about 1.1 million, and you'll find them going all the way up in price to about $2.3 million. So some amazing views in this area. It's more of a hillside location, but some really popular place to live, and great access to the surrounding community. If you need to get down to the Pacific Manor Shopping Center, it's super easy. We're close to Ocean Shore School, and we're also close to Sunset Ridge. It is a cooler climate. We're a little bit more exposed to fog and wind over here in Edgemar, but still a lot of natural light as it faces south. So you're going to get good sun exposure and some tremendous views as well. All right, guys, the next neighborhood I'm going to talk about is the Fairmont neighborhood. Now, there's two parts of Fairmont. There's Fairmont West and there's Fairmont East. Now, the Fairmont East neighborhood, as you start to go up Monterey Road, you're going to see there's a Safeway and some other things as you get closer to Skyline Boulevard towards Hickey. Now, a lot of the houses up in Fairmont, this is Northern Pacifica, so it's going to have a cooler climate. Oftentimes, it's blanketed with fog, and it does get a little bit windier up in this area. This is one of the cooler areas of San Francisco. It's definitely not as warm as Southern Pacifica and the Linda Mar areas, but you will see some larger homes in here, houses ranging in size from between about 1,000 to even up to 2,500 square feet. You're going to see a lot of Dolger style homes in this area. Henry Dolger was a famous architect and developer in the Bay Area, and you will see a lot of his homes here, but they're detached. A lot of the Dolgers that you'll see in San Francisco and in Daly City are going to be attached on both sides. A lot of the Dolgers in the Fairmont area are not detached. And so some of these houses do have a full basement underneath. So you'll have most of the living area upstairs, living room, kitchen, dining room, and usually 3 bedrooms and 2 baths. But then downstairs, you'll have a full basement. And sometimes people will choose to develop these homes within the envelope. So they'll take the high the high basements downstairs with the high ceilings, and they'll put maybe an in-law unit down there, another bedroom, a kitchen, and another bathroom in that area. It's been popular for developers to do that over the years in the Fairmont area, as well as in the Sunset District of San Francisco. And so in some of the Fairmont houses, if you go to Fairmont West, you'll see houses that are west of Highway 1, and some of these houses will also have amazing ocean views. So sometimes, you know, you're elevated, you are exposed to the fog and wind up there, but sometimes what you get in return is a beautiful ocean view looking down on the Pacific, looking down on the pier, all the way down to Pedro Point with a beautiful southerly exposure. So there are some larger homes in the Fairmont area. You'll also see some Lynbrook style properties, which are 2-level houses, good floor plans, and they're up in the Fairmont area as well. Fairmont is an area that is serviced by Sunset Ridge Elementary, which is a K-5 school. It has good access as well to Ingrid B. Lacey, to IBL, which is the middle school obviously here. So the Fairmont area is a great place to live. You're close to Skyline Boulevard, very easy to access all of the neighborhoods on the peninsula. If you need to get over to South San Francisco for biotech, this is a great area to commute to San Francisco, the peninsula, or the northern peninsula. Okay guys, the last neighborhood I'm going to talk about in the video today is the Westview neighborhood of Pacifica. Now this is an area in northern Pacifica that's also elevated. It's closer to Skyline Boulevard up the hill. And in this area, you're going to see it has kind of like a Scottish Highlands feel to it. So you're going to see houses up there that have kind of a Cape Cod style. They're 2-level homes, and downstairs for the most part, you're going to see, you know, a living room, kitchen, sometimes a bedroom and a bath, and then upstairs you're also going to see 2 bedrooms and a bathroom with an A-frame style roof, and typically an attic. Now, a lot of these properties will have amazing ocean views, and sometimes they'll have views of the valley below. They're built up at the top of Milagro Ridge, so you can see down into the valleys, and oftentimes you can see all the way to the ocean. You can also, with these houses, you're going to sometimes have large flat backyards as well. So these houses are not small. They range in size from about 1,100 square feet to about 2,000 square feet, and you will see 4-bedroom homes in this area. These houses will typically sell between about 1.1 and about 1.6. And these houses, you know, you're probably going to go, the closest elementary school to you is going to be Sunset Ridge, but of course Pacifica schools are a lottery, so you can choose whichever public school you're interested in if you live in this area. It's a great place to live if you need to commute, but it is a cooler climate. It's one of the colder climates in Pacifica, and it is a popular area. These houses will sell quickly when they come up for sale. I hope this video helps, guys. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to give me a call. You're welcome to shoot me a text. We can schedule a Zoom to connect. I'd love to help you relocate to this area and make a smooth move. I've lived here for quite a while, and I know a lot of these questions that people have, and people have concerns about the microclimates. I'm happy to walk you through those things. So feel free to give me a call, and until the next video, let's talk soon.